Join us for the 2025 n-Lorem nano-rare patient colloquium, hosted by Biogen, this October 20th and 21st in Cambridge, Massachusetts. Connect with members of the nano-rare community as we explore the latest from the foundation, share insights from treated patients, feature expert-led panel discussions, and more. Supporters, physicians, scientists, and patients and their families will come together for 2 inspiring days of learning, connection, and hope. Don't miss it. Register now to attend in person or virtually at n-Lorem.org.
This episode of the n-Lorem Patient Empowerment Program podcast is proudly sponsored by Hanjin Biotech. With more than 26 years of experience in the nucleic acid industry, Hanjin is a specialized CDMO and raw material supplier committed to providing high-quality and high-value products and services with the best-in-class lead times.
Hi, I'm Stan Crook. I'm joined today by Sarah and Ryan Marta. Guys, welcome. Great to see you. And actually, we're joined by the whole family, the 3 daughters, Kinsley, Hadley, and
Whitley.
A lot of Y's, and Grandma. So it's great to see the pretty girls and everybody joining us today. It's wonderful to have you visit us and look forward to showing you around.
Thank you for having us. We're very excited to see everything.
It is wonderful to have you, and of course for us, it's about the patients and the families, and so it's always a special privilege for everyone at n-Lorem to actually meet our patients and families, and so thank you so much for bringing the whole crowd here. I'm watching them, it's hard. I can see that Kinsley's the real troublemaker in the crowd there.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
That's cool. Well, she's got a group over there to cause trouble with, so that's all good. So Kinsley is a patient of ours, and she has a genetic disease. When did you actually begin to fear that she might have something, a problem?
You know, it was 18, she was about 15, 18 months old, and we were visiting my best friend, and her husband just so happens to be an ophthalmologist. And within 5 minutes of being at their house, he was like, "You need to go have Kinsley's vision checked. She's tilting her head back to see anything eye level or above." So we were like, oh, okay, we haven't really noticed that. And then we started noticing more. And so we took her in, and they were like, her ophthalmologist said, oh, she has new onset nystagmus. She didn't have that before. And so he said, I think she might have a brain tumor. We need you to get an MRI. So we did the MRI, no brain tumor, but they noticed a difference with her white matter. So it was kind of an abrupt start to learning that something was wrong. She had been in PT off and on because she was slow to crawl. She would army crawl, but she wouldn't crawl in quadruped. But we got her through PT, she caught up. They said that she was on track so we could stop. And then just a few months after that was when the whole process started rolling. So after that MRI, we jumped into genetic testing, and that's when it came back that she has TUBB4A.
Yeah, so it's a fairly typical story that we hear, sort of normal few months, and then things begin to crop up, and you begin to worry, and then terrible days.
Yes.
And there's not a whole lot that's known about TUBB4A, and so our initial genetic assessment reading from the hospital was very dreary, if you could. I mean, we were kind of in a shock of what they were telling us. But immediately Sarah and I kind of just, you go fight or flight, and we went to the fight mode, and we started seeking out everything we could find.
Yeah.
And that's how I'm not exactly sure. I remember how we even got to finding about you guys.
I found somebody that posted about y'all on Facebook. It was just a post, and they were like, my child has this very rare genetic condition. There's this company, and I came running into the room to Ryan, and I was like, look at this. And that was probably a month before y'all were having your first colloquium. And I said, Ryan, the registration's open, we're going. So we joined, we registered for the colloquium, we bought tickets, we flew to Boston, and then we showed up and Amy was there and she's like, who are y'all?
She didn't say, who are you all? That's Texan. She said, who are you? But okay.
And we were like, well.
And most of the people there are doctors and other clinicians and everything. And she's like, well, okay, we can get you guys in. And so we just hopped into the middle and joined you guys dinner that night. There was a little gathering and went to the next day where it actually all started and just got as much information as we could. We just were sponges.
Well, so your story is, of course, unique. Your family's unique, you're unique, but it's also tragically common. Nobody knows what's going on. Your confusion lasted a little less time than many, and so that's lucky, and you were fortunate enough to have a knowledgeable person say something's wrong. And for those of us, those who don't know, nystagmus is just rapid eye movements that are not controlled. And that's a sign to physicians who understand of something meaningful going on in the brain. And so you heard first that she might have a brain tumor, which, oh my God. And then maybe better, and then worse.
Yes.
And unknown.
Right.
At least a brain tumor, somebody would know something about it. And here you find somebody tells you she's got a mutation in a gene. Well, what the heck is a TUBB4 gene? What does that mean, right? And who can tell you?
Yeah, our geneticist couldn't even tell us. He read from the internet. He said, I'd never heard of this before.
Yeah. And that's one of the issues that our patients face is when you're unique, and when you're one of a kind, there is no one to talk to. And so one of our goals has been to establish a community, and the colloquium is a part of that, and we're very glad that you made it. And we should now talk a bit about what TUBB4 actually is, I suppose. So TUBB4 is short for tubulin, and tubulin is a part of is a set of proteins that form the sort of skeleton of your cells. And even though your cells are very flexible, they have structure and shape, and you use tubulin to shape and build your cell and to organize things. And of course you need that even more in the brain because you have these neurons that have these long projections called axons. I still find it amazing that there's a microscopic cell that I can't see except with a high-powered microscope that has a projections that's a meter long. And it's hard to believe. But you can imagine how important then a skeletal network in that must be, and it's a means, like it's a railroad, to move things up and down. And so her mutation distorts the ability of that a very important protein to function. And we know a lot about that today, and the world is learning a lot about it because of patients like Kinsley. And her mutation is what's called a toxic gain of function mutation, which doesn't, toxic, it's bad, gain of function, it's doing something new that's not good for you. It isn't hard to understand, right? And our technology can address that. We've actually are treating a number of patients with mutations in this gene, and so we are gaining experience, and we are optimistic that the treatment for Kinsley will make a difference in her. She has a set of problems that are caused by this. Why don't we talk about those for a minute?
Yeah, so Kinsley has struggles with her balance. She relies on a walker to stand or walk, She's pretty independent, so very determined, but her physical mobility is a struggle for her.
So in the grand scheme of patients we deal with, she's less severe than most of our patients, but she needs help. And she is unable to walk because the axons for her motor neurons don't function right, so she can't send the signals to help her do what she wants to do and control her movements. And she has poor balance because she can't control a lot of that, right?
And hers is progressive, so I mean, it's only going to get worse.
That's the key. The mutation is there, it's doing harm. It does more harm every day. It's called a neurodegenerative disease because it's progressive and it will get worse. And so we have to intervene as quickly as we can and do our best. And we are optimistic that we'll be able to help. And so that's the good news.
Yeah.
And of course, these diseases very adversely affect patients, but they also affect families. They rob them of hopes and dreams and all the things that matter, right? How have you guys managed all that?
There's definitely been an impact. I mean, it's there's always, you see other families, with having 3 kids is not uncommon, but you see other families that go to the parks and do things. You see them go and do vacations and certain things that we've kind of set aside that for now in hopes of, one day maybe getting there, but for now, it's just not a reality. And so that always has been a little bit of a struggle. And then her sisters see that's their reality, but other kids don't have that reality. So they're being shaped in a different way as well, just naturally growing up with somebody that needs assistance like Kinsley does. So it's for us, we live in it. We're used to it and everything like that. But we do see other families and everything, and we notice other people. But we're comfortable with making like this is our reality, and we have grown accustomed to it. So I would never say it's negatively impacted. It's just been a different impact. Mm-hmm. That's how I would phrase it. And it's been there's definitely challenges for sure.
It affects us on the minuscule level of like she can't get up and down off the bed by herself. So everything in our daily life is very different than a typical family. But ever since we found y'all, we just know that the future could look different, and it won't. We have the hope that it won't necessarily get harder.
Yeah. So you adjust, you find the positives, you had lots of hopes and dreams for Kinsley that have to be adjusted. And your 2 other daughters both benefit from experiencing an imperfect world. Mm-hmm. And they also suffer from the needed attention of Kinsley, right? And balancing that must be really, really tough. At least for me, it would be tough.
Yeah, it's definitely something that we think about all the time.
Yeah, our oldest, when we were explaining about coming out to n-Lorem and how there's scientists and everything, the best way that we could say it was they make potions.
Real life potions.
Real life potions. They're real life potion makers. So one of her dreams now is to be a potion maker to help her sister and people like her sister.
So there are, again, wonderful things that come from it. Mm-hmm. And we wish you didn't have to go through it, but this is what we see all the time. Families robbed of hope, making the best of it, and that's one of the privileges for us, is to see people at their best. Mm-hmm. And we see that, and it's really very gratifying. And so we're optimistic that we'll help Kinsley, and of course that will affect the family. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. She is optimistic about it too. She talks about it all the time. She says, I can't wait to get my medicine on my back. Maybe one day I'll run.
Yeah, I think that's something that's really also too little thought about, is that the patients themselves know they're different, and they know they have limits, and that they don't want those limits. They want to be able to do more, and to be able to do more makes a big difference, and to hope for that.
Yeah, and as you know, I mean, with her condition, her cognitively, she's all there.
Yeah.
So it is like she's got this 4-year-old brain trapped in a body that doesn't want to move like other 4-year-olds.
In many ways, that's harder than anything, right? Yeah. Well, it's wonderful to meet you and the family, and wonderful to think about the hope that we can bring you and the help that we hope to bring to Kinsley and to the family. Thanks for joining us and visiting. It's great to see you. Enjoy the ice cream too.
Thanks.
Thank you so much.
I imagine the girls will
they're so
enjoy
excited.
Okay.
n-Lorem is a nonprofit committed to discovering and providing personalized experimental treatments for free, for life, to patients with genetic diseases that affect 1 to 30 patients worldwide, referred to by n-Lorem as nano-rare. Many of these patients progress and die without ever achieving a diagnosis. This is where n-Lorem comes in. They do the impossible by providing hope, and for those that they can help, free lifetime treatment. For more information about n-Lorem or today's episode, visit n-Lorem.org. Any questions can be sent into podcast@n-Lorem.org. Search n-Lorem on Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, LinkedIn, and Facebook to connect with us. This video is hosted by Dr. Stan Crook and produced with the help of the following professionals. Thank you for watching.